There is an underground community that has been evolving over the past few decades. This community is made up of every different personality you can think of, from every type of background. They live among you, they work in every industry, they exist in every tax bracket. They have families, and they have one common interest. While most of them make no money from the community they behold so dearly, they give to it boldly and gladly. They travel to your city and experience it in a way you never have. They assimilate in alleyways you've never noticed, and schoolyards you haven't been to in years. Living an adrenaline-inducing different kind of freedom you probably never knew existed. This is the life of your average rider.
For some of us, words aren't enough to get by. Action is often required to get yourself out of the mud life puts you in. Unfortunately, life puts some of us in the mud more than others. Fortunately, that mud often creates the hardest workers we know. When you get tired, this guy works a double to cover your shift. See, when you've been spinning your wheels in the mud for years, driving on solid ground is no problem. And that drive isn't limited to work. He plays that hard, he loves that hard, and he rides that hard. Worker, straight shooter, proponent of positivity, skater, biker.
They say the first blow stuns you. The second one, that's the KO. Yeah, my knuckles about to hurt. Go in. Y'all don't want it with deck. You know, anything I drop will never fall short of respect. Y'all the type that they sort of respect. I'm a war vet. Off with your head once they forward the check. Yep, the queen keep calling me back. Never fall in the trap. I flee the scene with your broad in my lap. And I ain't worried about half of the chat. Haters talk till you see them. That's when they try hashing the spat. Keep a wise mind right in the sack. Don't even try to react. Tony Stewart, how I'm riding the track. Even if you don't vibe to my rap, I still be on your dome like a snapback. Fasten your straps. Rebel, how they said I act. No lie, like I work for home pride, all the bread I stack. Caught a jet to a west side flat to relax. Left with the stewardess on the red eye back. Let's go.
See, I'm straight, y'all got it twisted. I'm great, y'all not as gifted. See, I'm straight, y'all got it twisted. I'm great, y'all not as gifted.
It's alright, man. Relax. Stand up, straighten your back out. Realize it, man, he made some good fertilizer, fam. It's what I'm saying as I tied his hands and feet to a post on a random screen. Then I chop his little body up in a sandwich meat. A flying handsome version of Bryan Cranston, holding a copper ransom. Open the mind demands and clean it out, but keep every bit of the violent ransom. Make some giant fans that want this wild anthem. A phantom to ran it on, quick turn the cameras on. Get a pic with him with a dying rapper he's landing on. As he turns the post cannon on, said he bought it on Amazon. Now tell me what the fuck are you planning on? Nothing, he's strong, can't be wrong. Airheads out like the candy's gone. It's our face, back to attack your heart again. Destroy your ass like Drax from the Guardians. Zarface is here, we got you.
See, I'm straight, y'all got it twisted. I'm great, y'all not as gifted. See, I'm straight, y'all got it twisted. I'm great, y'all not as gifted.
You got one that's not open?
Yeah, we got one more in there, yeah.
Hell yeah, thanks.
Oh, hell yeah.
Donnie.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get it.
You guys want to be friends?
Yeah, let's be friends.
1, 2, 3.
If you spent some time in the southern Maryland BMX or skate scenes, chances are you've heard of this man. Hailing from Waldorf, currently residing in Hughesville, he is not known to be a slouch. In fact, it's the opposite. He's a member of the local 5 ironworkers and has been a certified welder since high school. And since before that, he's had his now wife, Amanda, by his side. For the last 4 years, they've had their daughter, Ella, there too. With a growing family and at times grueling work schedule, he makes time to build DIY spots, drain pools, and explore new cities. Father, ironworker, husband, creator, supporter, concrete bomber, biker.
Shotgun Willie sits around in his underwear, biting on a bullet, pulling out all of his hair. A shotgun Willie's got all of his family there. Well, you can't make a record if you ain't got nothing to say. You can't make a record if you ain't got nothing to say. You can't play music if you don't know nothing to play. A shotgun Willie sits around in his underwear, biting on a bullet, pulling out all of his hair. Shotgun Willie's got all of his family there. Klan.
Way to break my park curb.
The 6'5" John T. was a hell of a man. Made a lot of money selling sheets on the family plan. A shotgun Willie sits around in his underwear, biting on a bullet and pulling out all of his hair. A shotgun Willie's got all of his family there.
Yeah, they underestimated the working men.
No, I originally skated for, I think, 3 or 4 years, and then, because I'd always, like, kind of messed around on bikes. I had other friends that did bike. All the street around there was, I wasn't good enough to skate it like that, so biking was just easier. Because, like, when I started off, it was just heavily, like, super skater kid. That's all I wanted to do. Like, bikes were cool and all that, but I didn't have a good bike. Bikes are expensive.
What?
I just stuck to skating, and then once I got, like I said, once I got kicked out, all the stuff that was really good to ride was like 3 feet tall, and it's a little bit out of like little kid pop, but just enough for like a bunny hop. When we were like starting to ride, it was pretty much just us, and we didn't really have YouTube or anything, so I pretty much learned everything that I know off my other friends. That's why I'm butt-footed. Certain tricks I do certain ways. And I was kicked out of my park, and I didn't really travel at this point, so I pretty much grew up riding just street. I didn't really have a park to learn at for a few years.
Started BMX racing 1998, 20 years ago. So my parents started taking me to the track. And then that was racing at Bud's Creek when we used to race inside of the motocross track. So they used to race motocross around us on some nights. The track kind of shut down. And then me and my friends in the neighborhood that my parents lived in started building our dirt jumps. Definitely basically only riding dirt jumps, like a little bit of street, but basically trails every day. Across from the trails used to be a dump. People like all these redneck dudes used to crap in. So we'd go across there and steal like washing machines and dump truck tires with the rim in them, and you can use them as filler. So whoever tore those trails down had a rude awakening of all the bullshit that was buried underneath all those jumps.
My ACL at the Richmond racetrack after like a long day of like street riding. We went rode the dirt jump there at Gillies, and my buddy was trying to jump out of the second berm over the fence, and he was getting discouraged. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'll send it with you, man." And it was just like at the end of the day, super tired, like wasn't really giving it my all, and I kept like nosediving, just hitting the ground. So like the last one I sent was just lazy, nose dove again, and instead of like hitting the dirt, I was just tired of it. I tried to put my leg out, like step away, and as soon as I did that, my knee just shot sideways. And so obviously I hit the ground, and it was so painful that my leg shot straight and all my muscles like tense, and it smashed it back into place. Well, I didn't know that I had tore my ACL and all the other stuff. I thought it was just a dislocation because I've dislocated my knee before and had the same thing. And I was like, all right, it's just going to be sore. So I got up and like walked away. 2 weeks went by, and I was at a junkyard getting a part for a car. And I like went to stand up, and my knee went backwards, and I just like hit the dirt. And so I went, got it x-rayed, and they were like, you need an MRI. I went, got an MRI, and it turns out I tore, like completely severed my ACL, MCL, and crushed the cartilage. I can't remember how long. It wasn't, I didn't stay off my leg for very long though. I think right when I got to physical therapy, I started skating again because I just hated doing the exercises that they gave you, like squats and stuff. So I would just go to our skate park, get on my board, and just pump the mini ramp for as long as I could, because that's like rolling squats or whatever. And then once I got like into therapy, they had me start like doing like crisscross runs and stuff like that. I just said fuck it, just started riding again. They were not excited about that, not at all.
Went on a trip for 7 days. The last day of the trip, went and rode skate park in Virginia Beach. Did a foot jam on a kind of a steep, smaller quarter. My tire got caught between the deck and the back part of the coping. And then I fell forward, and I put my hands out to catch myself. And my bars were turned sideways, and one end of my bar hit the flat bottom, the other end hit me in my pancreas. So at that time I didn't know it was my pancreas. So I sat down for a while. My buddies were telling me, like, man, you should go to the hospital, this and that. So I was like, well, let's just go home. I was like, I started to feel a little bit better. And when I got home, after like the 5-hour ride, that's when it started getting bad. I threw up constantly until I started throwing up my own bowels. And I was internally bleeding. So I went to the hospital, put me in an ambulance, took me to Baltimore shock trauma. Then the next day I had surgery. And then I was in Baltimore shock trauma for 26 days. Came home, had a feeding tube in my nose, so they didn't want my fingers to work for 6 weeks. So a feeding tube in my nose, all the way to my stomach, and they just put Ensure in the container that fed through the feeding tube so I could eat. So I ended up losing about 65 pounds over the course of this injury. And after I could start using my fingers again, I started still like drinking the Ensure, ate a lot of like protein and stuff, and I ended up gaining all that weight back in about a course of like a year. Like my crew dudes are like the concrete bombers, like the slab dudes, you know.